Okay, we're good.
All right. Hey, guys. Yes. So I'll start by just kind of explaining what this is, how I came about it. I was kind of looking for something to do with my team, kind of rally us all together. And I came across this thing from Bob Heilig. I talked to Natalie Robeson, one of our uplines, about it. She's done some similar things. Can you hear me? Am I freezing?
No, I can hear you.
Good. Okay. My screen was kind of freezing a little, so I didn't know if you could hear me. Perfect. So what it is, it's called a WAM. It's a weekly accountability meeting. And I know what you're thinking. I don't need another meeting. I don't need another call.
Okay, for me, you're freezing now.
Yeah, me too.
Me too.
Hey, Sav, maybe try hopping off and then hopping back on. Poor Sav.
I know. It may have kicked her off, and hopefully she's.
Shelly, your dog is so cute. Oh my gosh, look at him.
The same thing.
He's such an attention whore.
Put me on the camera.
He really
Put me
is.
on the camera.
He's yeah, I it's like a toddler. Every time I do a live, he comes on, like brings his toys in, like I'm gonna show you this, and I'm gonna show you this, and I'm gonna show you this thing.
Oh, I
Every
love
time.
it.
Hear me?
Oh, she's back. You're
Hi,
back.
Savannah.
Never had internet problems while my family's home and taking all the internet. Jeez. Okay.
Yeah.
So what's the last thing you heard me say?
Just that
I
you
was
came
talking to
across.
myself.
It's a weekly meeting, and you know, once you hear that, you might think, oh my gosh, another meeting. That's about the last thing we heard.
Yes. Definitely listen to the podcast, because I think even when I sent it to Robin and kind of explained to it until she heard the podcast, she was like, but then when she heard it, she was like, okay, like we feel like this might be a missing link in a lot of businesses. You want to, like, you have these people on your team and you don't know who to help, and you feel like you need to be helping the 90% that's not doing anything that you're trying to help get to do something. But then you have this 10% or 20% that's working their business. That's where you should be focusing your time. So you can't meet out one-on-one with all these people. So the point is, you're kind of working smarter, not harder. So essentially what these are is, you go to your team and you invite them to this WAM, weekly accountability meeting. You tell them it's a quick 30 minutes. It is a check-in. You're committing to 8 weeks, 6 weeks. Natalie does 90 days. I am going to do 8 weeks with my team. And there's kind of a list of rules, and I'm going to tell you how they do it. You can customize it to be for you, but essentially what the stipulations are when Natalie does it is, you can miss 2. You get an email before the call and you put in your numbers on this form. The numbers are things such as, what was your PV? And Natalie even puts down her PV. How many reach outs did you do this week? How many potential reps did you talk to? How many teammates did you onboard? How many parties did you close? All of these goal setting things. And for her higher ranks, she also talks about having them work with a senior rep doing the same thing. But you have about 10 to 15 people. It is supposed to be an elite thing that they kind of earn. You know, hey, I have 10 spots. I want you to be a part of this. And essentially the point of it is for them to see, wow, I'm doing a lot, or I'm not doing as much as her. You know, they're kind of seeing, either they're going to realize they're not as consistent as they think they are, and maybe they're not as accountable to their business as they think they are. It can be difficult too, because what Natalie told me was, you are going to see that people don't show up, that they don't do it. But then that as a leader for you knows, okay, I've done everything I can. I need to focus somewhere else. I need to onboard more. So it's kind of that, cut the fat in a way and say, I'm here to help you, but you have to show up too. I'm doing this 8-week commitment. And I really just listened to that podcast. It really explains everything. But they also said, so when you start the meeting, you go through your numbers. Everyone reports out the numbers for that last week, what they did. And then from there, there's no stories, there's no drama, there's no complaining. You only can say your numbers. And how hard is that? Because I'll be like, but I only have one party, or my host is canceled on me. But no, it's the results. Like, disconnect from the story, the excuses. Just, this is my numbers, and next person goes, and the next person goes. From there, you have maybe one person talk about a win that week. And then you maybe have someone that talks about a roadblock, and that roadblock might turn into those guys talking to each other and helping each other. So then you're kind of being taken out of that problem solving role. They are helping each other. Natalie also has a Facebook Messenger chat. So she will put them all in a chat together, and they'll kind of help each other and kind of build those sideline sister things. And the way she does it is she does it by rank. So she might do like reps and junior reps have a call together, and maybe senior reps and directors. It just kind of depends on the team, how that would work. You know, maybe you combine with another team, so there's enough reps to fill a couple WAMs, that type of thing. For me, like, I really just feel like I have all these avenues to go to, and who am I supposed to help? For me, I kind of thought this is a way for me to have multiple people in one place and do group coaching, but then also know, like, it's going to be hard to see who falls out, the people that you think are going to do the 8 weeks and show up. And then it just, I think Natalie said that she had maybe 14 or 15 directors start, and she's down to 4 in this WAM. So, but those 4 people are working and they're seeing growth in their business. And the point of it is, if you get these people going through it once, hopefully their business grows over those 8 weeks, and eventually they'll be doing their own WAMs, and then they'll be doing their own WAMs. And then this time next year, you have 10 WAMs on your team going on when you started with 2. So it's more work now, but it helps you to have a little bit more freedom later, if that makes sense.
Gab, can you talk about the scheduling of this and how you're supposed to get these people together at one time, and if you saw the recording, you already know kind of how they do it, but can you speak on that?
Yep. Yeah, so Natalie does hers on Sunday night at 8 p.m. She does 4 in a row, which seems like a lot. And like, I feel like if I do it, I will have my leaders kind of each pick one and lead it, but you lead the same one every time. So you're invested in that group, you're accountable to that group. But she does 30 minutes, 4 in a row, so she can get them all in one night. Yeah, it won't work for everybody, but the people that want to be there will be there for that 30 minutes. And we always know you can't make everyone happy with scheduling. There's always going to be somebody that can't show up, can't do that time. But that's just, you kind of have to pick what's best for you or best for the people, and then always keep it that time for the 8 weeks and say, I'm showing up to this to help you, and obviously it'll help me too. I need that accountability. You got to show up also. But they make a very big point to say, you know, if something comes up halfway through, obviously they leave gracefully. There's no hard feelings. You're not going to make them feel bad. They're welcome back anytime. And I've had a few people say, I can't right now. I said, you are always welcome in the future if you are ready to do it. So that's how I've sent every message. And when they say no to me, I just say, that's okay, but keep it in mind, if there's a better time for you, I'd love to have you do it with me later. She also does like points of recognition posts. So like when somebody graduates through the WAM and does it, it's kind of like they completed this program, and maybe they'll start their own with their team, but it's kind of supposed to be one of those things where they want to do it. You're not asking your whole team. And I think it was Bob that said, be selfish. Are there certain people you know you need to focus on to help your business grow? You know, pick those people and do a little pilot, and just an 8-week program with just them. Trying to read through my notes here to see if there's anything. So how it starts is she invites everybody, personal messages. She'll do a Zoom originally to just kind of explain what it is and why you would do it. And then none of these WAMs are recorded. You're either there or you are not, and it's kind of a private thing. But when she invites them, she sends out an email, and your leaders have these forms, but the email pretty much is like a form and they're just agreeing to do it. It's like, will you commit to 8 weeks with me? Will you show up and be invested in other people's business as you are your own? Will you miss no more than 2? If you do, let me know. Put in your numbers beforehand. And yes, that is very formal, but I do think some people are wanting that like that formal setting, and others may not. Maybe that's not right for your team. But we were talking about how we have Dash to Director and all these trainings, but some people just don't make the time to actually work the business. And she says, as people would see numbers of how many reach out someone did the week before, they'd be like, oh, dang, I need to step up my game. And it kind of made them start putting it into the mix of time. So when that meeting came weekly, they had done something, a week didn't go by and nothing had changed on their numbers.
You want to share your screen? Do you want me to make so you can show them?
Let me find it here.
You're going to have to give me a second. Leo, just a second, sweetie. Okay, you should be able to now, Sav.
Okay. Okay, so this is actually in a Google form. When Natalie does it, I just copied and pasted it here so we could send it out to anyone who wants it. But essentially it's a form and they answer what their name is, what their rank is as of whatever date you're starting it. And then it's asking, do you want to accept your invite to it? Yes or no? Will I make it a priority every week? Yes, I agree. No, I cannot commit. And this could all really be one. Do you agree to these things? Yes or no? I don't think they necessarily have to be separate questions like this. Do you agree to miss no more than 2 of the 8 calls? Do you agree to be sitting in front of your camera, ready to learn and contribute? Yes or no? Will you be committed to other people's businesses as much as your own? Do you agree to submit your accountability forms prior to the meeting each week? So I'll show you what that is. It's just some numbers you put in. Do you agree to notify me and still turn in your numbers if you can't call? And again, it does not have to be this formal. We're nobody's babysitter, but I think it's just trying to get them to be like, I'm serious about this. Will you be serious too? Will you be positive and factual about your business? Leave all stories, negativity, and excuses at the door. Do you agree to honor all the individuals in the group and keep what is said safe in the call? If you're unwilling to follow the guidelines as defined in this form, we mutually agree that you gracefully disengage from the group. So if they answer that, they're committing to be in it. And then from there, you tell them what times they are. If you have a small group, you could probably ask them to figure out what works for everybody. That type of thing. It just kind of depends. So then this is what she has people filled out. So they have a monthly goal and she has them enter what their goal is. So like say Savannah Cease would be here. What is my monthly goal for hosted and closed parties? She did tell me she wishes she would change it to a goal instead of having them pick, like maybe if they're going for senior rep and you know that, you tell them how many parties a month they need, but I think to start it is nice just to have them, I don't know, pick their own goal instead of you picking a goal for them. So each week they would put in their numbers and then that week, did they get any future parties booked? How many follow-ups did they do? I don't know if I will do this one because honestly, it's not something I would track. So I'm probably not going to tell my reps to, track how many pictures and outputs of the day they did. New connections and messages. And this is Natalie's column. 100 was her goal. So it's crazy to see Natalie Robeson is doing 100 new connections a week. Host/rep posts or lives. Your personal volume, new teammates added. And that's all of them. So this is what people report out at the beginning of the call. So you see yourself next to other people. They see themselves next to other people. And it kind of just kind of as a wake up call for some people, or you kind of might see who is not ready at that moment to be that, into their running the business this way, I guess.
Yeah, it's definitely for people who want to take their business to new heights, who are kind of just in the same spot and they want to do more. And so, and there are people like myself who don't need this. Like, I don't need, I am so self-motivated in this business. I am all in. Like, so there's going to be those people as well. But like Sav said, it really will be telling who's committed and who wants to go for a new stretch. But what I love about this is that you guys are busy. You have your full-time jobs or side business and other things going on. This could be your weekly, like, because I know how it feels. You're like, oh my gosh, I haven't touched base with my team. Like, seriously, another week has gone by. I don't even know what so-and-so is doing. And you feel like a failure, like, right? I get it. And so this could be that, like, I've got 5 people on my team who want more. And this would be my one time a week that I am touching base with them. We are talking, we're going over numbers, accountability. I think that's where this could strongly fit in. And I think
it's super important you do 30 minutes.
30 minutes. Because they're not going to
get. Yeah, I think it's super important.
Because Sab said it would be 30, it was actually 45. Then they're not going to get on the next one. So they will respect you and the whole process more if you stick to that, for sure.
How do you like get people motivated to do this in the first place? Like, my biggest struggle, like, I will do incentive after incentive, and like, I'm doing a huge boot camp for my team and it's literally me and Brooke doing it. I'm like, I don't know. I'm like lost trying to, like, and you guys are talking about like all this stuff. I'm like, I don't think I could get anybody to even show up. Honestly, I think Brooke would be there and she would be my only person. And she's like the one that doesn't, of course she needs it, but so, how do you, like, I can't be the only one that has a team like this,
No,
so I'm just
did you
struggling to how to get them
Did you
motivated
happen to
do
watch
this.
the recording?
I did. Yeah.
Okay. And maybe this wouldn't be the best thing for your team at this time, but you could roll another team. Maybe Jamie can speak on it. But for sure, that's how a lot of people are feeling. But you dig and you ask somebody who you don't think really wants to do much with this, but this is exactly what she's looking for. She's a junior rep who sells $1,000 a month, not really sure her place, is overwhelmed by all the trainings. This might be the thing, like, pull her in. Want to become a director? Do you want? And so, really digging in a little bit more, and you might find some shining star.
I agree with that. And I think like for like our team specifically, Dana, I think all of us rolling this out and piloting it together, we will find, a couple people within your team, like whether it's Lisa or even a newer rep that wants to do something like this. So, I definitely think like presenting it in a certain way where, you're not asking everyone to do this on your team. You're picking out some specific people that you feel would really benefit from it and that would be excited about it. So.
Okay. So that was my next question. I had it typed up, but I never hit like return or whatever. That was a question too. So you don't like send like a general message to your entire team, like, who wants to do this with me? You would individually reach out to.
And I would not text them. I would either voice message them or call them. I feel like in the podcast, like he said, it's a special invitation. It is an invitation to be part of a WHAM, and it needs to feel special. It needs to feel like they're getting recognized because they're really trying to work their business. And this is a way for them to be held accountable with, or all of us really held accountable with one another. So,
and it will take some digging into, it'll take some digging into numbers. And you could say, Lisa, look, you've sold $10,000 over the past 6 months. Like, do you want to build a team? Like, I think I can help you. And I think that's that's maybe who you need to pull in. And we can call it a pilot. So no,
Yeah, I have
not included, right? Because that's a fear of mine too. But this is just a pilot. We're just going to see how this goes. And we selected a few that we thought would be good for this first round is how I'm going to word it to try to stay out of trouble.
Yeah. And I think too, like when you're looking, Dana, when you said how far down do you go, you tap rope all the way down. I mean, you figure out like who, if it's a level 6 or 7 or 8 or however far down you need to go, and you see someone's really working their business, I definitely would ask them 100%.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say too. I had a gal, like I have a senior director team that's completely fallen off. But there's like 2 girls on that team that are in my first level chat and I talked to. So I asked them, and then I noticed one of the girls on their team all of a sudden had volume the last couple of months. So I asked her. I haven't heard back from her yet, but like they're like, I know this girl started to be active again. So, and one rep that just isn't even sure of herself on how to ask and feels like she's bugging people, that like I asked her because she can see some other reps that are just rep rank that maybe you're like, well, gosh, these guys are doing it. Just get out of my own way. So just kind of dig into those numbers, and it doesn't matter if if their teams aren't doing anything, just find a few girls that are.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think what jumps out to me, what is exciting about it, I resonate with you, Dana, like I with me on my team, but what I think is exciting is pulling people into one place, and you guys kind of touched on this already, but like maybe they're feeling overwhelmed and like all the stuff and options and trainings, but like to have it more streamlined and almost like showing them what we're doing. I think sometimes we try that and it doesn't always, at least I can speak for I'm not the best, it's not getting duplicated down. Like, where's that roadblock? So I think if we can come together in one place, it's like you're going to start to uncover, oh, well, so-and-so never got that memo from, you know what I mean? Like it'll pull a place together where we can hopefully start to figure out and we'll like learn alongside each other. So I'm excited about that part of it. And I've been trying to figure out, and you guys started the call like this at the beginning, but like, yeah, I'm like, shoot, I haven't touched base with that girl in like a month and I don't know what's going on with her. And it's hard because everyone's at different places, but maybe this kind of brings it easier to manage from our from where we are.
And they also mentioned, that if you have time at the end, maybe have 5 minutes saved for a quick training, but most likely whatever that roadblock is, they will train each other and help each other through it, but have something ready. So like today I was telling Lexi and my director chat about something they said at base camp about 1-to-1 ratio, 1 party for every 1 rep is healthy. And so I was saying, you know, if we have these WAMs, that's a simple thing to tell our senior reps and above or directors and above to just calculate that number. Where's your team at? You know, so just little things at the end of calls to maybe get them thinking more about that leadership side of things, or whatever it is, whatever WAM rank you are running. Just have a quick training that might be missed.
And I think they talked about in the podcast, like that group leadership versus individual. And I think it's going to free us up. I feel like I will feel more confident in what I can say to the group versus like singling out someone. I really like that point. Like can really hit home whatever it is that maybe is a weakness for someone, but you're not being like, hey, Robin, you really need to work on, I mean, Robin, you don't need to work on anything. So that's why I used you as an example, but you know what I mean?
I love that.
Yes.
Too.
Yeah.
They said those one-on-one trainings or one-on-one are not as effective as group calls. And it's hard because we know our reps. Like I know what Lexi's doing. I know how, and so it's hard to coach when they're friends with you and they're, so this gives me permission. I've got a format, I've got a schedule that we are following. And we're going to talk about these hard things versus like, oh, I know your dog died. I'm so sorry. Like, you know, and then it's all hard. And so because I'm a lot of heart and it's hard for me sometimes to lead. And so I like that this gives me some structure.
And we all have the excuses. I have them. Like I'll start to say to Lexi, I'm like, you know this, it's not important. I still need to do this, this, and this. This gives you a way to be like, here's the numbers. yes, excuses aside, what do we need to do? I love that about the no drama, the no negativity, the no excuses, because we all have that stuff on our team. We're all guilty of it. So let's push it aside and just, what do we need to do? Focus on the business.
So we don't,
Do you envision?
yeah, go ahead.
No, that's okay. I was just, do you envision each WAM? Obviously you're going through the numbers, and then you talk about kind of the hangups for the week or whatever, you know, celebrations or hangups or whatever. Is there a set training that we should focus on, or is there an outline of week 1? Let's go through this. Week 2, let's go through that. Or do you feel like we just go where it leads us?
So Sav has
format.
a little bit of it. Yes, I need a format too.
I do. Well, I guess that's my next follow-up was I would prefer that, because I feel like
I don't want to
I feel
stress
like I
every
quickly
week.
lose the meeting. Yeah, well, I feel like I quickly lose, and they get in tangent of the story of what happened for their week rather than really what we were there to do. And I'm guilty of that too. But if it's almost structured where this week we're going to go through this, I would feel I feel like if there was
I
a
think
plan.
it also depends on like the rank and like new reps, I would probably go through more basic things or things they might not know. But Natalie said a lot of times she has a training ready and she doesn't use it because the group helps each other. But you could always say, hey, we're going to say 5 minutes at the end to do X, Y, and Z. But no, there is really no format for specific things to train on. Maybe it just depends on, like maybe that first time it's just numbers and talking and kind of getting your footing to see kind of where they are and what they need. And then maybe the next week, you know, okay, these guys need to figure out how to ask for parties. They're new reps, you know, maybe talk about that. But no, that I agree. Me having to find, like, I like the plan. I don't want to like think that day, what do I need to train on? But they did say too, you know, your roadblocks will probably turn into a training. And if you want to do a win for the week, you might want to seek somebody out that you know how to win that week and have them talk. If you know someone in there that had like a great party or had a yes after 10 no's, have them say that.
Okay. I'm envisioning my, you know, as I listened, but I was looking like my group, I feel like I have personalities that are similar or personalities that would be good together. They're not necessarily the same rank, but they're not so grossly different that we wouldn't have troubles doing it that way. But I also feel like there's a group that would kind of shy back. And then there's those groups that I think would pair well together that would move ahead. But I'm trying to figure out how to not have the ones shy back all the time. I feel like I have that, which it's their business, I guess. You know, that's where you let it kind of shake out, right? I have a hard time with that.
Yeah, and I do think these
I want to love them all.
Yeah, I know. But you do love them where they're at. Not everyone's going to want to participate. It just depends what they're wanting from this business. But the ones that do, and especially if we do it cross teams, I think it's good for them because they have to get out of their shell. They have to talk about their numbers. You know, they have to share that information, whether they want to or not. That's part of the WAM.
So you're envisioning it be all different groups, different teams, like?
Well, I mean, I think it's up to everyone. And that's what Robin and Sav and I were talking about. It's really up to everyone individually. I was thinking for our team personally, we go through like each of you, like, look at all the different ranks and pick out some, you know, different individuals and reach out to them that you think would be interested. And we do like a pilot cross team wise and then see how it goes. And then I don't know. And I think it's different for everyone. And Robin and Sav, you can jump in too, but whether you're senior director and up, if you want to then, if it's like, yep, I love this is going to be great. And then you take it and run with it as well. And maybe you want to do that right off the bat. I mean, it's really up to everyone individually.
So
Go ahead.
I
I was just gonna ask if there's a good number of people for a
10 to
group.
15.
Okay.
10 to 15 is what they say to leave that, because otherwise it gets too long and too many people chatting.
Yeah. And
so-
a similar rank.
Yes, yep. So what I think I plan to do is do reps and junior reps together and senior reps with directors. So I feel like a lot of senior reps want to get to director. You kind of have to start that leadership role is what I think I will do. I'm not sure, but I've already reached out, like my senior director chat and above. I've already said, hey guys, I just gave them a little spreadsheet. It says junior rep, or it says rep, junior rep, senior rep, director, senior director. Reach out to people, see who you think you want to have in this first round. And then from there, we're going to try and split it up. Maybe I will run one for directors and senior directors, or I don't know, maybe Lexi will run our senior rep and director one. But that way I'm going to try and see a few leaders to lead one. So it's not overwhelming for any of us, but it's still our team and those sidelines having, that togetherness. But I think they're also going to see they're not the only ones struggling with something either. Whatever they're shy about, they're going to see other people have the same issues.
Mm-hmm.
So I think from here, start, kind of like I'll be hopefully talking with Britt and Laura after this, and we can kind of see what they're thinking and kind of talk amongst yourselves and see kind of what works. But absolutely thinking about rolling this out in April, and prior to April, it would be nice, whoever is going to go off and do these, let's come back together and like share some ideas and share some things. What questions are you asking? What did you decide to go with? Because I think it's good to have you guys to go over some of this together. Brooke, you reminded me, like one of the questions on that initial form should be, or was it Shelley who said it, should be, I will respect other people's, I worry we're going to get that person in the WAM who just takes over the call. Nobody wants to show up to the other ones because you know what I mean? So that should be some type of initial question. I will respect other people's time.
That's a good idea.
You know what I'm saying? But things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Get together with you guys again, but let's just first talk kind of how you want to structure these. I don't think I'm going to structure mine necessarily rank wise. So everybody's going to kind of do their own thing, but at least let's come back together and kind of talk about where we're at in a week or so. How does that sound?
Yeah, that sounds great.
Okay.
Good.
Thank you all for hopping on. Thanks, Sav.
Yeah, no problem. Night, guys.
Bye-bye.
See you.
Thank you.